in Byron or somewhere, and what that road trip means
sitting
to
in
them.
traffic,
exactly.
waiting to get out.
So are there some regions who you think rely on self-drivers more than others?
Yeah, absolutely. I think self-drivers, as we sort of said earlier, are everywhere. But I think why this is really important for regions especially is because if you're in a thin market and what I mean by thin market is low populations, wide, big open spaces, low populations. And South Australia, we have lots of those. So, and as do the Territory and WA, so and Queensland to some extent. But I think those regions, when I'm talking about sort of outback regions and even sort of just the mid-north of South Australia where people are coming in from the East Coast, there are very few, if not none, airports. So, when we talk regions in Australia, I think a lot of decision makers at the federal level just think East Coast because they're based on the East Coast, and they forget that the rest of Australia, we don't have a lot of airports or air access in our regions. A couple of regions do, we know in South Australia on the Eyre Peninsula and Port Augusta, and a lot of that's due to mining and the fishing industry or ag industry and population base down the southeast as well. But those air options are often not that affordable, particularly since COVID, have become pretty expensive to get a flight into those places for most. And so people drive cars, and it's become a reliable way, probably even more so since COVID, and we couldn't fly, couldn't leave the state. I mean, all markets sort of met on it was the great equalizer. Everyone just jumped in their car, didn't they? It didn't matter what car, didn't matter how much money you had. There was only so much you could do in a certain space and time. And that's what we've experienced this last sort of two years. And I mean, up north, people ventured further. So they really did take that time to explore. I mean, I was flat out in Flinders Ranges, so we just did not stop for 2 years. So yeah, so I hope that answers that question. I think some regions do, particularly where there's no airport or air access, or you've got no ports or water. I think in terms of access points, I think those regions with fewer access points like train options but don't have like buses or bus terminals, you're really relying on the self-drive market. Yep. Oh, I think you're just on mute.
I'm with it. $1 in the